Okay, this is a fairly good picture. Okay, so 3 down structure. Even though it's a defensive line body type, he ends up being the shelf defender here. Okay, so we're running inside zone, right, to the left. Inside zone left out of a 12 personnel set. Okay, so 12 personnel set, he's going to be responsible for the D gap. So if we have a tight end on the front side, we teach the quarterback in our inside zone world, the me call is gone. There is no +1 issue because the tight end is going to be responsible for +1. So me call is gone. All right. So he's +1 there. Okay. The combination here. Let's see how we block this. This is a lot of human beings. This is a short yardage snap. They would work this combination, I believe, to 30. That combination to 44. And then these guys are working basically their man drive. This is the element right here. Okay. That we would call the shelf defender. Okay, it's going to be away from the inside zone call, and when we're game planning, we wanted to find soft shelves to run the football. Okay, so if that's a soft shelf, it might be a safety or a quarter. It's playing more like a 4x2 alignment, 4 yards width, 2 yards depth, or 2 yards by 4. We would love for our back to be one-on-one with a soft shelf defender. This is not a soft shelf defender, right? That's a big body type. He's coming off that edge. So we would say this being a big body type and he's in a sprinter stance, we have to account for this in the RPO and know we're going to run the football or throw the football without question. So he makes a scotch. He's through the mesh and should immediately escape there and become the protector. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's the biggest one. Shelf defender is the defender on outside the tight end or tight end wing away from the call side. So essentially like the backside bounce defender. This right here. So scotch.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
Just curiosity, like when you guys are installing these calls, what's your install progression with these?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, I don't have the grease for it here. The biggest thing I always teach is I always start out by just showing 11 personnel inside zone. Okay? That's going to be our 11 personnel inside zone right, tight end on the back side. I always show exactly who the ID is going to be. And then I circle, like in a 2 shell or quarter shell, I circle the +1, and I literally just put me next to it for the quarterback. This guy's you. You're going to be responsible for the +1. That's a me call, right? I always make sure that they understand that ID, you're never responsible for. An 11 personnel, I always say that the -1, that's always the responsibility of the tackle and tight end backside. Then I'll show that boundary safety. All of a sudden I'll say, hey, this right here, this is going to become either your scotch call or your glue call, right? Now, we moved to doing all scotch call the second year, okay? The original thought of doing all glue was that if that shelf defender's if he's off the edge right now, that you can't get through the mesh and go block him. We found that never became an issue. We were able to come through the mesh because anytime the running back came through the mesh, that defender would check his feet as if he's being zone read. Right? He'd start surfing or flick or whatever you want to call that technique. So that wasn't an issue. So we just basically said the front side element, I circle him, call him a me call. The backside element, the -2, I circle him and say scotch element. And then I teach the living crap out of the quarterback about all the different looks. Yeah. Right? When you know that you need to make a me call. When you know you potentially might need to make a scotch call. And I just built it that way. Sure. So 11P was about kind of the way that I started teaching progression. I think this is the last clip here. Okay, this is a good illustration here. Okay, so 11P, right? Down safety. Okay, however you look at it right here, I think this ends up being unstructured. Yep. Okay, so unstructured. So back to the premise of it. This is 3 down structure. We're going to make a Reno call, right? So now the quarterback knows that these are essentially our 2 IDs. Okay, so Reno call, left guard and center in combination up there to what would be the mic here, right? Right guard and right tackle would be fan, 4-eye out to the Sam, and then the backside would be 42 and 70 in combination up to 57. So the scotch call, all that's going to do is tell the running back through the mesh, immediately snap out to your issue. Okay, so you can see I use the opening play against against Wisconsin this past year. Scotch, 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 through the combination. We ran a lot of almost like bunch sets where we would fold block on like what people would call the duo play. We fold block, so we did a fold, and then stutter and slip right by him. Number 7 kind of likes getting smoked in games against Wisconsin. Pretty serious game of football there. Go one more here. Shelf defender, right? Inside zone right. Extra element, shelf defender. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box. We knew that this was going to be the element we couldn't account for. Quarterback's going to say scotch, scotch, scotch. It's going to keep the combinations on. We're going to say they end up fanning. This is good right here. So the back's going to go through the mesh, okay? Get out to that element. We just threw a hitch on RPO off of it. And one more.
Was that defender ever actually batted?
We hadn't had issues, and I think because of actually having the mesh and then escaping to it right now, we haven't had a lot of issues with it. Let's see if we can find one here. This is one where the quarterback just disconnected. But you can ultimately see where the running back was escaping to. All right, that's pretty good right there. Those are really the 3 main